So, this is the Maker Mask. If I remember, I will link the site down in the description. You print it out. It took me a bit to print it out. So over here, this is the first thing that I printed right here, was the actual mask itself. That took 5.5 hours. And then printing the filter parts, which was like these here, right? That took 6.5 hours. And then I printed the other half of those, which took another 4.5 hours. And then I had to do all the little valves, because all these little valves here have to be printed at a lower layer height because they're really, really thin. So I did all those separately, and that took another 5.5 hours. Now, you could do this faster, but I mean, what is that total? Like, 15 hours? 18 hours if you do it quickly? Because you also have to print these things, which are to hold the straps. I mean, technically you didn't have to those if you had a different way to mount them, but I printed them because that's how it's supposed to work. First you insert this thing in the middle, which just you glue on your little valve here, and that's to breathe out in the middle. Air comes in on the sides, out through the middle. Then air comes in, I mean goes out that way, through this filter, which I actually put 2 layers. And what I use for a filter is just this vacuum bag. So, I mean, it's literally just a vacuum bag. It's like $6 at the Home Depot. And I just used some fabric scissors, cut out the size that I needed, and put it right in there. And then I put down the other little piece of plastic that goes in there. Then I put another one. Then I put this top piece on. So there's actually 2 layers in there for going out. So hopefully that's good. And I'm going to do the same thing over here, I think, as well. So basically you put in this here, like so, and then you put your filter on top of that. Then you put this little spring doohickey in to hold it down, and then you put this one on the top as the cage. And then you'll have it with you just cut out a piece of your filter material that's the right size. And in this case I'm just using vacuum bags because that's a HEPA filter. So it should clean out all the dust and everything. And these aren't rated as anything, but you can get the more expensive bags, because as I said, these are like $5 or $6. But if you get like the wet dry bags, like they can get up to like the $30 to $50 range for just a bunch of bags and filters for your vacuum. And those are like the big wet dry shop vacs. But those ones are actually like really good filters that will stop most dust and everything. Of course, they're not going to stop viruses, but I think the finest quality bag I could find was like with the Dirt Devils or Dust Devils, whatever, and those ones were 5 micron, and this virus is like less than a micron, so it's still going to go through, but you're still going to stop all the spit, and that's the most important part. And I mean, just in general, this is useful as a dust mask. Then this here is just weather stripping. It's like rubber weather stripping stuff. I think this whole thing was like 17 feet, and it cost me like $3 or $5, I think, something like that, for 17 feet of it. And you only need like 6 or 8 inches to go around. And it's supposed to slot in there, but I couldn't actually find. My Home Depot doesn't have the right kind that they wanted. The one that they recommended to use was smaller diameter and would fit inside this slot that's built into the print right there. But I just hot glued it around the outside. It doesn't look as nice, but it still works. And then I had a gap around my nose where air was coming out and fogging up my glasses. So I just took little small pieces. It took me about 30 minutes with some fiddling, cutting it down to the right shape. And, oh, my hot glue gun's still running. Okay, yeah, let's not do that. Whoops. Yeah, just 30 minutes of hot gluing and moving stuff around and cutting it at the right shape. And now I get a really good seal. Barely any air comes out of my nose when I breathe out. So it shouldn't fog up my glasses as long as I have a tight strap. And then basically for this, these little things, you just heat this up and bend the plastic around, hook it through there. And then at the bottom, same thing with this one that hooks through there. And then you just attach your strap to it, so you got the 2 straps coming out the bottom from this thing. And then you got the straps coming out over the top, one, the other one. And then you attach them in the back with this big one, bend that into a hook. So you got the strap on one side is this and the other side is that, and then you can hook them together in the back, and that is how it works. I mean, of course, you don't have to use these if you don't want to. You can do however you want to attach it if you have a better way. But yep, I'm just gonna finish doing the filters here. It's this pretty nifty system with these little triangles. They've got like a little notch in the side, So you push them through them back in here after you put the flap on, and then, which is the valve, and then you just put this your filter tray on there, then you put the disc on there and you spin it and it locks it in. And I actually ended up, this one kind of broke when I tried to use my needle nose pliers to squeeze on the ring there because it was kind of tight, but I just hot glued it, so that's not going anywhere and it's going to have a nice airtight seal. And I also hot glued this one with a high temperature hot glue, as well as putting the ring on. And this one's going to be like my fancy one because it's going to have the red ring and the red spring that holds the filter back in. So it's going to be a double whammy. Anyways, thank you for watching, and I think I'll remember to put the link to this in the description so you can download it. And then I'll also put a link to this other one that I printed that's a lot simpler. It takes like 4 hours to print the whole thing. And of course that one's not really a respirator, it's just a filter that goes, like, your air goes through both ways on that one. This one, they come in on the sides and out through the middle, so it's like really like a nice respirator. And as you heard, it sounds like a respirator. So yep, you just attach everything together with hot glue and super glue, a little bit of printing, you're all done. And here the mask is with the filters in and the covers on. You can see the red ring in there. I keep forgetting that, oh, I've got more to say here, and then I'm like, I already ended the video, but I gotta keep going anyways, because there's more left to say. Alright, now it's over, though, because here it is completed, except for the straps, of course, but, I mean, those are minor details.